Welcome to The Short Score, your weekly update of roping news from around the industry, where you can find the latest on the sport from the pro rodeo ranks to the jackpot world. I'm Taylor Vollen, and I'm your host. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to The Short Score. It's your host, Taylor Vollen. This episode, I do admit, is kind of funky, coming to you guys on a Wednesday, so I do apologize that I'm a day late. We are still in a crazy season of circuit finals, meaning today I have some more circuit champs to introduce y'all to. First, I'm going to introduce you guys to the 2023 Great Lakes Circuit Champion healer, Wyatt Kanan. The Great Lakes Circuit Finals wrapped up this past weekend in Louisville, Kentucky. Arguably one of the best circuit finals out there, in my opinion. They have such an awesome crowd, and it's always a blast. Wyatt roped with Cooper Bruce all year, and they wrapped up the year-end title in Louisville. They came from about fourth or so in the standings to get the job done. And today, Wyatt talks to you guys just a little bit about what the win means to him, and he walks us through his weekend in Louisville. Have you won the year-end before?
I have not. I've been in the Great Lakes for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I bought my card 3 years ago, and I rodeoed. Actually, my father-in-law got me to go my first year, and we just placed somewhere there in the middle and just went to enough to kind of make the circuit finals.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, I was the same way. I just made them. And I honestly ended up the year 12th, I think. I was one of the last guys going into the finals and finished one of the last guys. And so it was kind of complete turnaround, really.
Right.
For me, from bottom of the circuit to 1 year being able to finish at the top of the year end. It was a pretty big blessing. But
Do you know what you went into the finals? What spot you went in?
we went in fourth, and this year was kind of different. Like I say, I've only been in it for 3 years, so I'm speaking from limited experience. But all the guys that have circuit rodeoed for a long time talked like this was one of the toughest regular seasons of the Great Lakes. They say that only there's one or two teams at the top that are kind of competing for the year end, and if it's not already sewn up going into it. And this year, I think the top 6 or 7 teams, it was basically within 2,000 of one another. And, that was what the rounds paid. So it was anybody's game this time.
Mm-hmm. So what was kind of your guys' game plan going into Louisville?
Like I say, it was within $2,000. It was basically whatever team had the best circuit finals. Going into it, we had full intentions of going and catching the first night, seeing where we were, and just roping our way through there and doing good in the average. And honestly, I didn't do very good this week. I had really, it was a God thing that we got the year end. Nobody should be able to go into the circuit finals and mess 2 of the 3 steers up and still come out the year-end champ. That doesn't work like that. But I messed up the first round, and then from there on, it was just rounding them. And the second round was pretty simple. Mm-hmm. They lost the money. And going into the third night, I had done a little bit of the math. I knew that Cooper had done all the math. That's just, how he is, but I had done just enough math to know that we pretty well had to win the round, and the right teams had to mess up. And so, going into it, we had full intentions of catching our way through, but by the time it was over, our last year was pretty good, and we knew we had to win the round, and it worked out in our favor.
So that's, like you said, definitely a God thing, I feel like, then, when it came down to that.
Sure. Me and my wife talked about that. It was, after the first night, I missed the first steer. I set the whole run up bad and missed the first steer, and I was pretty beat up. Mm-hmm. And she kind of keep my head picked up, but I had no thought at that point that we had any chance at the year end. It was basically a sudden death match for everybody in the top 6 teams, and and you shouldn't be able to miss one and think that somebody else isn't going to sneak up behind you and get you.
Right. Kind of tell me a little bit about how the year went for you guys. What did the year look like? I know you said, it came down to the circuit finals for you guys to win the year end, but just walk me through your whole year, kind of how that went down.
Yeah, so we started roping halfway through the end of last year. We both kind of jumped partners, and so we kind of got our run together at the end of last year. And when we started this year, we were both on new horses, and we started off a little bit rough in the winter, and then once we got to winning, the spring went really good, and we went everywhere. We went to all of the Great Lakes rodeos. We went to a couple rodeos that were out of circuit that were just close, and then we went to 2 different amateur associations around Missouri and Iowa. And so we went to a lot of rodeos, it seemed. For sure, double the rodeos that I'd ever been to in the summer before. And so it was kind of challenging for me to stay hooked, but we did really good there in the spring and the summer and won good and learned a lot, got our run put together. And at the end of the year, we didn't do a whole lot of winning there in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but we'd had a good enough spring and summer that they kind of let us get by with it. But it was an awesome summer. We went to a lot of rodeos. We're winning enough to stay out there and think we were making it profitable, and it was a good time. So.
Well, good. Tell me a little bit about how you're feeling about getting to go out to the NFR Open.
What an awesome opportunity. Like I said, it's kind of starstruck me because, going into last year, I had just made plans of trying to make the circuit finals, and this year got a lot better horse, great partner opportunities. And by the time the year's up to win the year end, I feel like that's total 100% circle and transformation. So it was kind of a surprise, really, once we got to the point that we were making the circuit finals, and then all of a sudden we were leading them. It's just got better and better. And when we caught the last steer, Cooper had done the math, like I said, and he knew he was fist bumping, and his horse was crawl out of the arena as soon as the run was over. So that tells you how excited he was.
Yeah.
But it kind of hit me after the run, but it changes the whole plan.
For sure, yeah.
To have an opportunity to go do that, and have an opportunity at that kind of money that some people don't, it make kind of goofy to not go try and win a rodeo and make a bigger circle. So it's 100% going to change the coming year for me. I feel like I am called to do this, and the reason I'm out here is not just to rodeo, but I feel like I'm out here to make a difference in people, and to be able to show people that I couldn't be doing any of this without my Lord and Savior. So make sure that people understand and know that this is 100% glory to God. And like I said earlier, this is a total God thing and a blessing. Nobody gets to go in to the circuit finals 4th and completely mess up 2 steers and come out 1st. So this was something I needed more help with than just myself.
Next, I've got Clay Green for y'all. Clay won both the average and the year end in the Southeastern Circuit this past weekend. Clay heeled for Bart Brunson and Davie, Florida, who also won the year end over on the head side. What's neat to me about Clay is that he actually came into the circuit finals 9th in the standings. So that means he and Bart had to do some major work in Florida. Again, Clay walks us through his weekend and just kind of what his year looked like. Start off by kind of walking me through your year, what it looked like on the circuit front.
see. I went to, I guess before we left to go this summer, I'd only been to 9 or 10 rodeos, but we had enough one to get us into the circuit finals because I'd roped with Cole Thomas, and I roped with Bart at Boniface starting the year out, the first rodeo, and then I started roping with Cole Thomas, and then we didn't want to get our count too high, so we kind of just went to the good circuit rodeos and kind of just waited to see if we needed to come home and get some, if it was looking like we were going to make the finals or not. So we just kind of left it at 10. And we did good at Jackson, Montgomery, Homestead, Florida, and just a couple of the better ones we went to, we did good at, so it kind of helped us out there. We didn't have to go to too many and had enough one to get us in.
Tell me a little bit more, too. I know you kind of brought it up, but how you made it work. I mean, you were out west for most of the summer. How you made that work and also getting your circuit count. Kind of just explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, actually, my trailer had tore up in Albuquerque, and I had left it, and I got it to Lubbock, and I left it and drove just my truck all night to Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Lord.
And went to Hot Springs and Searcy that weekend, and I ended up getting Spring Hill. I went to Spring Hill.
Oh, gotcha.
Hot Springs, Searcy, Spring Hill, and then I had to go to Florida to Benel to get my last two, which my brother was needing a little more to get into the circuit finals, so we roped there.
Gotcha.
That was my 15th one, the last two rodeos of the season.
So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to the bare minimum and still ended up winning the year end.
Yes, I come into the circuit finals 9th.
Holy, I did not realize that.
Yeah, I come into the circuit finals 9th.
Did you have any idea that it was possible?
We had joked around because Bart had never won. I mean, he's won the all-around a handful of times and won the calf roping. And we had joked around and said, one year we're going to win the team roping together. Because he was my first actual partner. Like, my rookie year, me and him roped. Shoot, I bet we went to 30 circuit rodeos just in the winter. And just missed getting into Houston off the New Year money by one spot. And we did really good, and we had joked around and said we were going to win it together one year because he's kind of my partner when I come home, I rope with. And I knew he had a good chance. He was only maybe 1,000 behind him, but I think I was down like 5,500 behind him. So I knew I'd have to do really, really good, and we joked around like, well, maybe after we won the first round, we made a joke and said, well, maybe this is our year we win it. And then the guy that was first went out of the average.
Wow. So. Wow. So, have you won the year end before?
No, that was actually the second time I'd ever been to the circuit finals.
Gotcha. What does it mean to finally get it done? And like you said, I mean, there's a whole backstory to it with you and Bart and everything. Kind of tell me how you're feeling.
It's pretty cool to really cool, I think, to come in 9th and the money being so close that we actually had a chance to win it. And man, I just love roping with Bart. Like it's always fun to come home and rope with him, and he doesn't like to leave home very much, but it's always fun when we get to rope.
Right. Kind of give me a play-by-play on the circuit finals. Walk me through your runs.
Our first steer was actually really good. We had run them down Thursday, and there was 2 brindles in there, and they had both went, and they were almost identical. And we had drew one of them the first night, and we're really excited about that. And just steers were fresh. They'd only had 5 or 6 runs on them, and they'd gotten down there and gotten a little thin, just a little drawed up. And our first one was actually really good. Like, he left there true. Bart hit the barrier and headed him, and I knew we were, there was 4 teams after us, and nothing had really gotten done. And I had time to go another swing and Hiller, and there was good teams behind us. I didn't think we'd win the round, but I thought we'd win good. and we ended up winning the round. And our second steer was a little weaker, a little softer, wanted to go off to the right, and Bart had headed her, and she kind of tried to step right by the time he headed her, and she actually fell down.
Oh, wow.
And I had to wait on her to get up, and we were 7 flat, which we were still good. We were still winning the average. And then our third steer was the other brindle that we'd watch him run down, and he ended up being almost identical to the same one we'd run in the first round. And I knew I needed to win something in the round because I think I win the year in by like $600, $500. So I knew I needed to win something in the round to catch them. And by the time we wrote, a clean time is what we needed to win the last hole in the round. And we had all day to win the average. And we actually drew a good little steer and just caught and ended up winning 4th in the round on him.
Thanks so much for listening today. Do keep in mind that these articles will be coming out shortly about these wins, so keep an eye out for that over on our social media or at the website.